Barry, do you really fucking think I'm an SJW for fuck's sake?
Meet Vadim. Vadim runs a great YouTube channel called Creationist Cat.
Shadabites, Super Jesus Warrior Creationist Cat here.
Now, over the weekend, Vadim was involved in a live stream with fellow YouTubers Courteous,
I've eaten more pussy than you.
Sofane,
I eat more pussy than cervical cancer.
and Timmy.
Sucking a dick, to be honest.
Now, since that live stream, Vadim's been a little bit salty at me because of something that I said. I hope this video helps clear the air a bit.
But you know what? He didn't feel legitimately harassed. I asked him, I said, did you feel like truly harassed by this? And he said, no, you don't have to actually feel harassed to take advantage of, well, maybe he didn't use the term take advantage.
Vadim's talking about a recent Twitter dispute between Courteous and Sargon of Akkad, which resulted in Courteous' account being suspended for 12 hours. Personally, I prefer to handle disputes outside of any platform's reporting system. Having said that, rules and regulations apply equally to all users. Harassment is seen as harassment whether it's from Courteous or Sargon of Akkad. If one's reaction is to break down and cry and the other's reaction is to shrug their shoulders, it makes no difference.
But to enforce the terms of service, something of that nature.
We're back
And
on topic.
that's just like, okay, you're being fucking petty. You're seeing some sort of loophole that you can exploit.
That's not a loophole though. A loophole is a mistake or an inadequacy in the written terms of a contract, or in our case, Twitter's rules. Now, Twitter's rules don't say anything about harassment not being harassment if the victim doesn't feel harassed enough. That's a requirement that you're adding to the rules for some reason. I mean, is this something you normally do? Like, have you ever found yourself wondering if a rape victim feels raped enough for it to count as a crime?
But you know what? He didn't feel legitimately harassed.
Vadim, imagine if we did it your way. Imagine if harassment was determined not by the actions of the harasser, but the feelings of the alleged victim. Say there's a lady walking past you as you quite naturally pull this squinty eyes face. Maybe the sun's in your eyes, or maybe you're as stoned as a motherfucker. Anyway, she sees it as a threat and runs to the nearest police station crying. You've probably just committed a serious crime.
And he had said something nearly identical to what you had said earlier that day. He had called a bunch of people, he said, you guys are always being pieces of shit to me, fuck all of you, something like that.
The difference was that Courteous' post included a threat to continue harassing Sargon on an ongoing basis. In any case, I think it's best to avoid the reporting systems of these platforms altogether.
Maybe what you said was a little more extreme, but you certainly could give him a strike, or no, I mean, report him for that. And I never would want anyone to do that. I think that
I wouldn't do that. I didn't.
What?
He was very rude to me. I never reported him. I've never reported him.
Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of thing anybody should report somebody over. Bad taste isn't report worthy, and it doesn't do anybody any good on either side.
Well said.
It goes against the spirit of free speech. I mean, I start feeling kind of like a little pretentious and like preachy when I say that, but it's the fucking truth. It goes against which he, more than almost anybody in this whole like YouTube community, beats the drum about all the fucking time. You know, the importance of free speech and whatnot. So and how words can't really hurt you.
Yeah, but you're not just talking about words. You're talking about reporting his channel because of a couple of insults. There were no threats or incitements, just insults.
When he was pulling that shit with Anita Sarkeesian, he had a string of tweets where he was saying things like, you know, he had this very put upon tone, which was sort of like, I have never felt so harassed in my life, and you know, like he was clutching pearls.
Vadim, text doesn't have tone, mate. Unless he was making really good use of bold, italics and underlines, but I don't think you can even do that on Twitter. Any tone you perceived was in your reading and not Sargon's writing.
I guess these days I've had more in common, or just like, I don't know, felt like the SJWs, I hate that term, but I'll use it for lack of a better way, you know, social justice people, I feel like they are treated like, you know, like punching bags. So I feel like I have to speak up about it. And I don't know, I'm kind of really babbling here.
Bering actually said something vaguely interesting in the chat, because like normally
No, he didn't. I don't believe you.
It was
You're
vaguely
fucking
interesting.
Oh, come on,
Normally, he
Chrissy.
doesn't say anything
I
of it.
hate that shit.
But he basically said, like, you know, like, So Thane is, he's being dogpiled right now by like 3 SJWs or whatever.
Hey, I've been very nice to you.
We'll come back to this momentarily.
Is that
So
what's
Thane.
happening? Like, are we like social justice warriors? Are we trying to shame you into something?
The
So it's-
people who know him think he's an
So
asshole.
I'm not even saying that you're like really saying that he's legitimately like part of the community that Chrisiosity is, and I guess maybe now me too. It's really weird. It's really weird that I'm all people. Barry, do you really fucking think I'm an SJW for fuck's sake? I mean, these people.
Rashid
There's
is
so many SJW,
great.
and I don't like
And
the
I'm
term.
going to tell you I'm going to tell you that right now.
What?
Notice how Chrisiosity just starts talking over whoever she wants whenever she wants? Let's listen to that again.
Barry, do you really fucking think I'm an SJW for fuck's sake? I mean, these people.
Rashid
There's
is
so many SJW,
great.
and I don't like
And
the
I'm
term.
going to tell you I'm going to tell you that right now.
What?
What a horrible woman. Now let's see how nice they had been to our mate Sophane up until this point.
The second point is there were 0 panels presenting, any other side.
Fane's talking about his experience at VidCon a few weeks ago, specifically those perfectly executed creator panels we heard so much about.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
Okay.
So these
Fane,
guys,
do
these
you know
people
that
didn't
he
show
could
up
have
at
gone
VidCon.
forward? He could shut the fuck up, Tim.
Shut the fuck up, Tim.
They don't have muscles. They couldn't get any women's. Other people have had more success than me due to their like confidence. I'm a beta male. Beta male. Beta male. Beta male. You are a cunt. Beta male. Beta male.
But I can work on myself and I can like build myself up.
There you go. Fuck the internet.
All you had to do was sort of put forward that I want this panel. That's how you did it. You submitted a panel.
Chrisiosity's about to launch into a bitch fit about how Sargon could have applied to host his own panel at VidCon, as if that would have meant there was no need to go to Anita Sarkeesian's panel. And that obviously misses the point entirely. Sargon was a registered and paid attendee. He had every right to go to Anita's panel, whether or not he was hosting one himself. It's as dumb as dog shit even by Chrisiosity's standard, but then again, she is shit-faced drunk.
I've eaten more pussy than you.
So fucking Anita Sarkeesian did the goddamn work, and Sargon was jacking himself off for being an edgelord and never submitted anything. And then bitched that he didn't have a fucking panel.
No, he didn't. You made that up.
Well, he didn't put forward and say he wanted a fucking panel, did he? Did he? Did he fill out the goddamn paperwork?
Look,
I don't think he did.
I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is there were dozens of panels and none had any other point of view than the ones presented. I went to multiple.
Hello.
And it's
it's
the
like a little
same
form.
points. And
You could have just sent it in. Did you? Did you? Did Sargon? Did anybody? Did Amazing Atheist? Did anybody? Did Chris Raygun? No, they fucking didn't. No, they fucking didn't. They went to the people who bothered to do the work, who bothered to figure out what was going on and say, okay, this is how this works. And this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get this panel together and I'm going to do the organizational shit and I'm going to do the work as the woman I am who does the work. But no, some guy is got to come in and say, well, I'm a man, well, I'm a man, well, I'm a man, and I don't have the same thing that you did. Well, did you fucking fill out the paperwork?
okay, well, now wait a second. Wait a second. You can't use that tone there. That's not cool because it's part of the argument of women getting left out a lot of things. And you know what? Next year, those forms will be filled out. Those forms will be filled out.
No, they won't. No, they
And,
won't.
I'll make
Fuck
sure the
off,
forms
they
are
won't.
filled out.
Well,
but the
you
thing
you
is,
might fill
I
them
don't
out.
think it won't change the panels. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the panels will be. Maybe there'll be panels talking about other things for this group of people who felt like they were left out a little bit. But
Don't tell me they were left out if they didn't do it. Don't tell me they were left out if they
I
didn't.
can't say
fucking
that
bother.
nobody filled it out. I don't have that information. I'm not.
Oh yeah, like I don't actually know if
I'm
they
not in
filled
the
it out. I
club.
don't know anything about it.
They
I mean,
filled it out.
let me ask you, how do you feel about Sargon telling his fans to write to Hank Green, essentially asking Anita to be deplatformed?
I didn't have a problem with it. She didn't have any more panels.
Okay, fine. Like, look, you can say like, oh, it was all a joke, man. Well, then if it's a fucking joke, then it ceases being a joke once you get to the point where you're actually asking people to deplatform someone. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just like, it felt like super manipulated and just therefore just a fucking publicity stunt and nothing more.
Yeah.
So I actually watched all that go down live. That's when I wrote Timmy that message in the live chat.
Bering actually said
don't
something
get that.
vaguely interesting in the chat because, like, normally
No, he didn't. I don't
It was-
believe
no,
you.
it was
You're
vaguely
fucking
interesting.
lying.
Oh, come on,
normally he
Chrissy.
doesn't say anything
I
of it.
hate that shit.
But he basically said, like, like So Thane is he's being dogpiled right now by like 3 SJWs.
Barry, do you really fucking think I'm an SJW, for fuck's sake?
That's a cock.
I don't know. Ultimately, it's fine. And and there's so many fucking idiots who, like, if you're just slightly, like, if you're even like as left as Hillary Clinton, who was pretty fucking to the right, they're going to call you an SJW. They're going to call you a fucking commie or something. So I guess it's pretty inevitable, but it's just like, to portray me as someone who is really like kind of uptight about these issues. Yeah, I do kind of speak up about this shit, but that's just because there's a lot of people who say really dumb things that just, and a scarcity of people who will speak up about it. Right. I get so many comments from not just like fans, but also channels who have far bigger audiences than I do, who say things like, dude, I'm really fucking glad that you speak up about these things, because I don't want to do it, but like I get really tired of seeing all this nonsense. Bearing tweeted to me. He said, sorry, as you and your SJW mates were ganging up on Sophane, Tim banned me from the chat, so I
didn't ban him. I put him in a timeout. He can't wait 300 seconds.
So I couldn't answer your question. And then he said, and yes, I do think you're an SJW.
Oh, damn, you're an SJW.
Yeah, well, he thinks that because I forget what the examples are, but there have been times where he's said some really stupid shit.
People are already believing the lie. My own mod.
And so
podcast.
So now I'm an SJW because I call out the stupid shit.
No, I don't remember you ever having called me out for anything. Are you sure that happened? And you're an SJW because you just called yourself an SJW a few times, and you seem to be right on board with most of the ridiculous double standards spouted by the SJWs, like inventing your own rules and being way too oversensitive when it comes to harassment directed at you and your pals, and way too undersensitive when it comes to harassment directed at anyone from your pals. And didn't you just say Hillary Clinton was right-wing?
Racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic.
I made Puppetsaw Podcast into a mod, and he's like, why did you ban Bering? So you already believe Bering's lies, and I fucking made you a mod? Why did I do that?
Well, Tim, why did you kick him out at all?
I didn't. It was a timeout. He could come back after 300 seconds. He chose not to come back.
You
So
put
it's
him in
all-
timeout like you're
It's his fault.
You're a modern parent, so like you're in timeout. My parents beat the shit out of me, dude. Make a decision.
He could have chose to come back, but instead he went to Twitter and he whined.
Well,
I
because you can't
think
put him in timeout on
honestly-
Twitter.
Because he was
And-
very rude to me. That's why I put him in timeout.
What did he say that was so rude, Tim?
I would have to go back and I'd have to look, and it's quite far
Tim,
away.
you can't even remember it, but it was. Come on,
Only
guy. Tim,
300
I know you. You're the thickest skinned of
Look,
your ilk.
I hate him on a personal level. I think he's a horrible human being. I think he's
Really? Is
a total.
that
Yes,
true?
he's
Is
a
that
liar.
honest?
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
hates
He's
him
He's
on
a
our side.
fucking liar, and I just have no interest in his opinion. So he was rude to me, so it's like I put him in timeout.
I do think that we should say this and be on it. Now I'm gonna get in trouble again. What am I doing?
Come on. Come on, give it to
Daring,
me, Chris.
he's a liar. You cannot talk to this guy about
Barry
anything.
Is the
He's a total liar.
most
He's just
hated
so full of
person.
crap.
Like there was a conversation about like, well, who do we hate the most? Bearing. Like you know,
Okay,
everybody.
all right, he's back.
Bearing.
Oh, you
He's
took a
like,
vote? You took a
God,
vote? Everybody
I'm so
in the-
happy I came back because
Well, it was
you know,
just one of
it's
those
back
sort
again.
of general conversations you have. Have you ever had this
Okay.
conversation? Like, this
think
guy's
so.
okay. This guy's okay. Well, who do you not like? Bearing. Nobody likes Bearing.
He deliberately
thinking that's gonna be in
misinterprets
trouble.
situations all the time.
Oh, I'm someone who deliberately misinterprets situations all the time. Go on.
It's, I mean, like, as someone who I've watched maybe like, I don't know, 15 of his videos.
15 of my videos, Vadim. 15 of my 712 videos. Why, that's a whopping 2.1% of my content, Vadim. Maybe you could throw a couple of examples our way. You know, a couple of examples of where I deliberately misinterpret situations all the time.
And it's very rare that I think that he does not kind of take things really out of context. He does it a lot. It's really, and that's really kind of things that I've kind of gotten him on his case about.
Things that you've gotten on my case about? Are you sending these things to the right place, Vadim? What are these things? Could you maybe re-forward them to me? Because I can't remember seeing a thing.
You know, like compare him to Undoomed, who says the same things that he does and does the same things he does. But Undoomed doesn't pretend to be nice. Bearing does.
You can't say, well, he pretends to be nice. What? Don't you see that if that's true, if he's just pretending to be nice, don't you see how that is a move that is defeating you? It's working. Why don't you pretend to be nice?
What?
If
Where
you have to
are you going
fake
with
it.
this? Where are you going with this?
Liar.
This is weird.
Recession session! Give me better times, give me better times. Recession session! Give me better times. Recession session! Give me better times, give me better times. Recession session! The sessions never meant anything to me. I'm not crazy. Well, that's not true. I've got a bed and a guitar and a dog named Bob who pisses on my floor. That's what I've got her for. So what? So what? So what? I've got pockets full of Kleenex and linen holes where everything important to me seems to fall right down my leg and onto the floor. My closest friend, linoleum, supports my head, gives me something to believe. That's me on the beach side, combing the sand.